Hey everyone, you're welcome on JustEventOnline TV. I'm AbdulKadir Isiaq once again. Problem, issues, and reality. Today I'm with me. I think is a very popular face on our program. Is a management expert, public affairs analyst, and I'll call him a religious tutor. So that is no other person than Malam AbdulKadir Ghali. So today we'll be talking about two different issues that will be a bit political and some sort of governance. First we'll start with governance. I think in every government, the first thing is the protection of life and property of the people, and the second thing is shelter for the people. And I think the second we say shelter and feeding. And in Nigeria today, what we are battling, everybody is complaining. Even the richest man in Africa, that is Aliko Dangote, has complained about inflation in this country. But today, recently, there was a governor, that is governor of Kwara State, Governor Abdulkadir, who the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum. He has come to the defense of the federal government and its policy, where he said that what he has made in money as a governor in 2 years, in 2 years of Tinubu government, he has not made it he did not make it in the first 5 years of his time as governor. And he said that we can go to his state to go and see how projects are now accelerating to completion. We've seen that, but when we talk about projects, are people not projects too? Infrastructure, are people not infrastructures too? So, which leads us to the questions. A lot of governors, a lot of states have been jacking up their remunerations, that is national minimum wage. I think it started with River State, Lagos State, and now we have Edo State, Imo State, I think Anambra State. We were saying that, okay, let's leave this 70,000 thing. As we are doing with infrastructure, let's do it with people too. I think Imo State now has 104,000 naira minimum wage as against the national benchmark of 70,000. I think Lagos State has over 100, Rivers has 90, but in Kwara State we still maintain the same thing. But some people will come with the argument that Kwara State is a civil servant state. But as much as we are a civil servant state, it will interest you to know that Kwara State had more revenue last year in 2024, more than in Oyo State. And Oyo State pays more in what do we call it? Salary than we do. You ask yourself, if the government is more concerned about infrastructure, how about the people that will use the infrastructure? I don't think if anybody is hungry, you want to see glass building. The first thing is we have people that are well fed, then we can, so that they can think straight. Now we have people in our classes, we have people in our hospitals, we have security apparatus who are not paid. We all know that they are not paid to normal standard. The minimum wage is not taking anybody home. So as a managerial expert and the public affairs analyst, Malam Ghali will take us through with his opinion on this kind of issue. You're welcome on the show.
Thank you very much for having me once again on the program. You see, I want to start by saying that rights are not actually given, rights are taken. The major problem we have is not our governors. The major problem we have is the people. And when I say the people, I mean representatives of the people. I mean statutory representative of the people. I'm not talking about the mob. I'm not talking about the mob. I'm talking about organized labor. I'm talking about civil society organizations. I'm talking about opposition political parties, the civil society organizations, the organized labor, the opposition political parties are supposed to represent the people. In fact, in a normal democracy, they're supposed to be aware 100% of all the policies of government in power, to monitor the activities of government in power, to monitor the implementation of policies, implementation of budget, and some other vital indices that will actually translate into good living condition for the people. But the area where we fail in Nigeria is in that regard. One, we do not have viable opposition at national level and at all our state level. I want to give an example. Some 2 days ago, I was watching one local online TV from Oyo State, where somebody came to, lament that the Oyo State government is planning to obtain 300 billion naira worth of loan. And the fellow was actually, shouting, lamenting that the governor has come out to say that all the projects that is ongoing will be completed by the administration, which means that they already have budget to complete those projects. But the same government is now going ahead to borrow 300 billion naira. So that person was, crying, I just used the word crying. He was shouting on top of his voice. But what interests me was that man concluded by saying, "Where are the opposition?" So that is the point. Oyo is a PDP controlled state. Their opposition, their APC, is nowhere to be found. Kwara is APC controlled state. The opposition party PDP is nowhere to be found. In Nigeria, opposition is good as dead. So nobody, we are not saying that you should carry placard, we are not saying you should start demonstrating, we are not saying you should start attacking government, but you can analyze government policy to show to Nigerians that this policy is not doing well, and the people will be aware that, okay, we have a voice, we have a people that are concerned about our welfare. So I'm afraid this is how we are going to continue in Nigeria. This was how we continued under Buhari for 8 years. This is how we are going to continue bearing this administration also if it's going to spend 8 years, because those people who are supposed to rise up, those people who are expected to rise up to know better than the masses, they are not doing anything. They are just sitting down in their offices, putting on their AC, and they are just collecting money. I have in a platform where somebody was actually cursing the Kwara State Labour Union, practically cursing them that you are just deducting from our salary, because we do pay salary, we do pay
monthly due
from our salary, and these people use the monthly due to fuel the vehicles. They use it to travel everywhere, but they are not actually doing the job where which actually is supposed to. So what I'm saying is that if you have a situation like this, those that can help the masses are the opposition political parties, the civil society organizations, and the labor organized labor. So, for example, now we've seen situations in Nigeria where an individual who was actually frustrated by what is going on will now go online and start criticizing government, and that person will be easily arrested. That was we had of a core member who was victimized, who was
I think a certificate is still being
withheld. So you cannot fight it. It's a war that an individual cannot fight. It's a battle an individual cannot fight. But organized labor can fight. That is why we elected them. That is their mandate. That is their statutory mandate. So that is why it's very easy for any government to come on here and just say anything and nothing will happen. That is why they just do whatever they like, because they know that they have been able to cripple the civil society organizations, they've been able to cripple the organized labor, they've been able to cripple the opposition party. So what are we talking about? So a governor actually came out to say that he has received 5 times more than what he used to receive before Tinubu came in allocation. 5 times more than what he used to receive, and go to the state, nothing to show for it. Look at our governor. We know is a common knowledge that our governor has received in 2 years more than what a governor received in 8 years. And the governor is saying there are projects going on fine. Nobody is disputing that. But is government one-sided? Government must be multi-sectorial. So you touch infrastructure, you also touch welfare. And people have been arguing, and I want to agree with them, that the easiest way to loot money is through infrastructural projects, through this physical project, capital projects. That is area where it's very easy for you to inflate the cost of a project, the budget of a project, and nobody will actually, detect what you have done. So I want to say that we should, as a nation, appeal to our civil society organizations, our organized labors, and our opposition political parties to help us. It's a fight. Myself and yourself cannot actually fight. Cannot, if we attempt to fight it, we are going to be arrested and persecuted. In fact, Showore is there. He's been in and out of one trouble to another trying to fight. It's very easy for government to deal with him because he's an individual. If I happen to be a labor leader, it won't be easy for government to do that. Remember the other time when they handled the Nigeria Labour Congress, people started crying, everywhere. Government had to, change their tactics because it's representing a lot of people that ask, that are giving him their mandate as a leader of the labor union. So what we have today in Nigeria is pathetic. What we have today is I said it here the other time that the issue of this government is a parable of somebody who gives one and takes 10. He gives one and takes 10. That is why we are suffering. Look at the national international passport fee has been increased
by about
300%. I said the other time here, driver's license has been increased, motor license documents. So what are we talking about? And this is what I was telling somebody, that international passport is used for identification in Nigeria. It's not only for those who want to travel abroad. So it means that a common Nigerian can actually go and obtain his international passport, and you have to jack up the price to that amount in whose interest. So the issue we have here is that government will continue to do whatever it likes, in as much as those who are charged with the responsibility of serving as watchdogs to government do not do their jobs.
But I want to start from where you started from. That about you made an analogy of Oyo State and Kwara State, different governors, different parties doing primarily relatively the same thing. You will recall that this same Oyo State wants to renovate the Oyo State government house for 64 billion naira. He said he wanted to do it. That's the same government that's borrowing 300 billion naira. The people who were out crying, 64 billion naira is too much. The same thing the governor of Kwara State has been crying about the Kwara Hotel for 30 billion naira. So, all in all, if they are from different parties, they are supposed to be opposition to them, but they are doing practically the same thing. Don't you think the people, it's time the people tell this government, okay, go to the same party. Let the people have our own party. But another issue in that regard is that I want to remind you of the days, the Labour Congress days of Oshomole. Everybody trusted Oshomole with everything. So much so that even from Nuclear Clan of Nigeria, as much as they were not from Edo State, they prayed that he became the governor. Now as the governor, he has joined the elite and is now acting like them. I want to say that it's all about we doing the we thing. The leader will come from amongst us. So how do we cultivate a patriotic ideology that will say, okay, it is not about me, it's about the country and the future of the country?
No, I said something the other time. You say, if you go to countries where things seems to be working, it's not about individual, it's about the system. So it's about the proactiveness of the people. It's about the awareness of the people. It's about the enlightenment of the people. It's about the education level of the people. It's about good representation by those who are, given mandate to represent the people. So here we have a big challenge, and that challenge, like I said, is about our governors being aware of the fact that we know nothing about governance. Majority of people know nothing about what's going on, and unfortunately, Unfortunately, if things are harder than this, God forbid, people at the long run will now say it is handiwork of God. That is our destiny. So let us keep praying. So it's so pathetic, because that has been the very terrible fallacy that they have created into in our minds. I want to elaborate on Oshiomhale's time. I was following Oshiomhale when he was NSC president, and I've been telling people that one thing that Oshiomhale did differently was that he was when he was there, I used to listen to him. Oshiomhale will analyze every policy of government as if it's the one that wrote the policy. He had a team of experts with him, economists. He had teams of policy analysts that will help him analyze. The major problem Oshiomhale actually faced was this issue of increment in fuel
Subsidy.
first, and he will come out to tell us that this is the number of barrel that we produce, this is how, and government will be defeated hands down, because this is the representative of the people telling what they know about, and they knew that he's telling the truth, and people believed him. How many times did Oshiomhale come out to say let us demonstrate? No. He would analyze on television, analyze on newspaper, and government could not actually match his analysis, because people trusted him more than the government. But my major problem has been the caliber of people that are now being elected to lead labor unions. They don't know anything, and that is also some of the challenges that we are facing. That's one challenges we are facing. You see, whatever we say from now till eternity, if people do not rise up, with knowledge, I'm not saying with guns and cutlasses now. If people do not rise up with knowledge, if people do not rise up to defend their, existence, this no government will give them, a good standard of living.
What's up? What would you say is responsible for some government saying, okay, my people need more money. This money is not taking them home. Some of them are jacking up by 50%, some of them are jacking up by 30%. But some governors saying, well, it's fine, they can manage. And here we are. What would you say? Would you say it's because some people get more allocation? Because I would say that the smallest state in Nigeria today is Bayelsa State.
Of course.
Bayelsa State earns the second when it comes to all derivation. Bayelsa State still pays 70%. Imo State is not one of the highest paid when it comes to, and they are paying 104. We're saying that is the base. If you are in academics, it's another thing. If you are in health sector, it's another thing.
Yes,
like they did it that way. Now, come to other states that are not doing this thing. What would you say is responsible for that?
It's part of one thing that's responsible to that is not different from what I've been saying, really. If a governor is aware that the labor union in the state is proactive, that governor will be cautious. That governor will be cautious. But if a governor has been, be able to put them in his pocket, whether by threat or by largesse, by giving them money, that governor will naturally relax that nothing can happen, whatever these people. You see, we have a big challenge. There is an angle that our labor union can also even prove and promote the need for this salary increment, economically, for the benefit of the state. Because the money that civil servants collect will be retained in the state. There's no capital flight. It's not going to go outside the state. It's not going to go outside the country. It will be revolving in the state, and it will eventually boost the economy of the state. These are analysis that is expected, or that are expected from our labor union to put forward. It's not about fighting the government. It's about making the government realize that if you pay us more, you do more favor to the I get more now, I buy more, my purchasing power will increase. So that woman that is selling maggi will sell, that woman that is selling, and the economy will flourish. It's a natural thing, and it's a good for you as a governor. But unfortunately, our governors are not interested in whatever you say. They are not interested in what happened to the economy of anybody. They are only interested in what enters their account, how rich they are. And some of them are actually preparing for election, and they need new money apart from what they have invested already. They need a new set of loot that they will use for the election, because it's a risky game. If they lose, they didn't lose their own money, they lose that new one that they mark for the election. That is why it's a common knowledge. Everybody knows that when the election is coming like this, governors scramble to steal more to prosecute elections. So you can even argue that if you pay more to civil servants, you are doing more favor to the state economy. So it's unfortunate.
But another angle to this thing is about paying more to the economy. You said that you start with the constituency of the people. There was a time the national chairman of the TUC, Festus Usifo, he was talking about the problem with the country, and he said there are some places people blame TUC, NLC where they are not supposed to be blamed. For example, in your state, you want to implement something in your state. He said they have national government to battle. You expect us to come to your state and battle your state for you? When he said we should start from the beginning, why not try to elect credible people in our houses of assembly? Now I go to the house of assembly. Don't you think this thing concerns them? We've never seen any of them wasting points of public order to say, please, we think at least they will have access to the state account. I'm not saying to take the money, but they will know, they have the notes. Okay, this is what we used to have 3 years ago. This is what we currently have. Okay, so is there no civil servant representatives that will say, okay, please, I've been with these people, I know what they feel, I know how they feel. Please, governor, we would like that you increase the salary. We've never heard from them. Are they just there to be paid, and then we just have some people there not to represent?
The issue is that I want to ask a question. Is there a labor union in Nigeria, whether at the federal level or at any state or the federation, that has an enlightenment program on radio or on television?
Currently, I disagree. I don't think there is.
So, what do you do? For example, an average quarter does not even know that any labor union exists. An average quarter does not even know that any civil society organization exists. So, how do you want to, fight for people who do not know you? How much are they spending on publicity? How much are they spending on enlightenment? That is one. So I'm not going to agree with you, see, man, saying that because no, how much fight did the TUC fight on behalf of Nigerian workers? How much fight did the TUC even fight? Let's forget about state. How much fight did UT fight federal government? In fact, the ASU issue is still lingering. ASU issue is still lingering. For how long? For how long are we going to continue? So it's not an excuse to say that your state should fight. No. Let them. They don't have any enlightenment program. What I mean by enlightenment program is that tell people about you, tell people about what government should do. Do it in local languages. They are not doing anything. They are just collecting money and cruising labor union vehicles. So that is number one. Then number two, you see, this issue of salary and issue of welfare is issue that must be collectively fought if we want to take our governors, want to hold them responsible. For example, you talk about the IMO, you talk about those states and the revenue they collect, and I don't know a time when the chairman of Nigerian Labour Congress in Kwara State or the chairman of the TUC in Kwara State came out to tell Kwarans about the economic situation in this state. And that is the essence of their appointment. That is the essence of their office. You monitor economic development. You monitor economic growth. Because when I talk about labor, labor is about economy. When I talk about trade, trade is about economy. Primarily, labor is about economy. It's not about people. Primarily, trade is not about people. Primarily, it's about the economy. If the economy is not okay, laborers will not, what do you call it? Labor will not enjoy their services. I mean their work environment. If the economy is not good, what will happen to trade? Look, you can see our trade, when you talk about trade union congress, they are the ones who monitor and supervise our artisans. What is happening now? All of them have become Okada riders because the economy does not fit for them. The economy does not fit for them. In fact, there was a time I read in newspapers that the government has approved 85 billion naira for renovation of schools, of junior and senior secondary school. I was so happy that one, all our dilapidated schools will be renovated. Then two, our artisans will have works to do. Up to now, nothing has happened. 85 billion naira.
Then I think that may be a cause of bureaucratic bottleneck. Maybe it has to pass through some processes.
It's not fair. It's not cross-state government money. It's agile money. It's agile money. The money is coming from an international non-governmental organization. So what are you talking about? So state government is just to facilitate. And that is so. I was so happy that fine, people will still have something to do, but nothing's happening. That is those are areas I want labor union to look into. The trade union should look into that. It's not about workers that are collecting salary alone. It's about economy of the state.
Thank you very much. I think that's a very good place to live in. I think it's not about the workers alone. Okay, if the government pays more, the people will buy more, will spend more, and then the money will actually come back to the government.
Exactly.
It's just the more you give, the more you take. I think that's a very good place. Thank you very much. That was, I think, we had one other thing to talk about, but I would say that even if it's just in 2 minutes, President Senator Kabir Marafa announced his exit from the APC recently, and said that you look at the way he, Nasir Rufai, and Abdullahi Ganduje were treated, you see that Tinubu is systematically killing the northern arrowheads and want to conquer them against 2021, so that 2031, so that he will impose whoever he wants. But do you think Kabir Marafa is doing that for the north or doing that for himself?
No politician does anything for the state or for the region. No politician. Politicians are the most selfish people on earth. They think about themselves first before anybody. That is why it's very easy for our president to say Imilokan, that is
ideology.
So Imilokan is not about Nigeria. It's not about Nigeria. It's not about anybody. It's about me. It's about myself. So anybody who is coming to say that I'm fighting for the north is just wasting his time. Some of us that are familiar with Nigeria politics will never believe him. So that is why it's very easy for the soldiers, the foot soldiers of the president, to attack them. That they are just bunch of frustrated politicians who are fighting for their personal interests. The same Marafa was the one that was used to thwarted the 8th Assembly. Abi?
Yes.
Yes. It was the same person that was used to disrespect, to disregard the Senate President and his office in the 8th Republic. So that time, he was in the good book of the government of the day. Now that he's in the bad book of the government of the day, he's now saying he's fighting for one region. He's not fighting for any region. These people are fighting for survival. They are fighting for political survival because they know, and that is the fact. If, as we are going now, Tinubu wins in 2027, they are done politically. and that's why they are struggling to say, let us fight and see if we can survive.
Thank you very much. I think I like the just that brief analysis. I don't even want to ask any questions anymore because politicians will know what they want. It's left for an average Nigerian on the street to know what he or she wants. Thank you very much, sir. I think that's a very good place to leave it. Thank you very much, our viewers. I remember myself of the country once again. Do have a lovely day. See you next week.